A number of Cincinnati Reds players that we have been critical about proved us dead wrong this weekend in their sweep of the Diamondbacks.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Reds podcast. Locked On Reds is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Stephen Offenbaker. His name's Jeff Carr. We are lifelong Cincinnati Reds fans. We are lifelong baseball fans. We love talking about the Reds. We love talking about baseball, and we love talking about those things with you. We've been doing it for a combined 14 years. On today's show, the Reds have a chance to secure the Ohio Cup, and it's been a while since they've been in position to do that. We'll tell you how they can do it later on the show. The Reds bullpen has been lights out this weekend, including one guy who is really starting to take a step forward. We'll discuss that in just a few minutes, but we're going to begin today's podcast by allowing Jeff to eat some crow for his negativity and his disparaging comments of the Cincinnati Reds team over the last few days. He's going to dig in and tell us why he's sorry, coming up in just a few minutes on today's episode that's brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. All right, Jeff, let's dive into this and let you right the universe a little bit and apologize to CES and apologize to this bullpen and apologize to Matt McLain because you wanted to send him down, and tell me how many different ways you're sorry about that.
Well, they absolutely went crazy, and you also are part of this apology too. Probably not about the Matt McLain thing, but we were both really cooling on Matt McLain. We're kind of getting to the point where we're just like, I don't know, like, how do you explain when he's going to figure it out other than he's due? And man, was he figuring it out this weekend. He was coming up big in a couple of different spots. And after Sunday's game, in which he hit the go-ahead 2-run home run off of Zack Gallen to put the Reds ahead for good, he was asked, what has this process been like? The fact that you've gone through this crazy struggle, and still, even after Sunday's game, he's below the Mendoza line, so he ain't out of the woods yet, but man, things are starting to turn around. This is what McLain had to say.
Yeah, I think through it all, I've just been trying to play the game the right way, go about it the right way, work hard, and play hard, control what I can, and knowing it's going to show up. But yeah, just try and build momentum, small wins each day, and carry them over.
I know this, Steve. Like, that is the tone, that is the demeanor, and that is the feeling that you're going to get from Matt McLain, whether he's hitting 400 or 100. And I give him a lot of credit because he has always sounded like a very even-keeled professional ball player.
You know, he's always been a guy that believes in himself. Back in his college days, back in his minor league days when we talked to him, and now he's always believed in himself. I don't think he's ever doubted that things were going to come along, but sometimes you just need a ball to kind of bounce your way. And in Matt McLain's case, you know, that bunt yesterday was probably a slump buster for him. Different hitters will tell you different things. Barry Larkin on the broadcast yesterday said that, you know, getting in there and getting a bunt down like that helps you see the ball better. You stick your nose in there, you see the ball hit the bat, and it helps you down the road. And Matt gets a single while Barry's having that conversation, and Barry's like, yep, you see right there. I know Matt McLain had a little bit of different take on how that went, but sometimes you don't have to be good, you just have to be lucky.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was really supposed to be a sack, and the first baseman didn't crash, so it was just good.
It was
Love
good.
To hear that.
That's what you need. It was just good. And I love seeing McLain turn it on. Now, you know, I will admit I was starting to worry. Not enough that I was going to send him down to Louisville for some random whatever. I was still holding the line on, you get me somebody better to play second base and we'll talk. That's where I had gotten. Hopefully McLain is changing that narrative now. A few more games like this, the batting average starts to come up, and I think people will buy in very quickly and start to believe again.
Well, and I think the important thing behind our feeling, behind my feeling, behind anybody's feeling about sending Matt McLain down, it's not as if he needed to gain a skill he didn't have. He just needed to see the ball go into hole. He just needed to see the ball hit the ground. or hit the stands. And that's what he saw this weekend. He saw some hits fall. He saw the homers fall. I think that's just all he needs. He needs to get the confidence going. It's the mental aspect of the game that I don't think he is just being out thought or he's like pressing too hard. It's just the results weren't there for him, and the results were there this weekend. Steve, this team is just absolutely miles better when he is going. And
100%.
if he gets going, that's what we're talking about. That's the team that's going to make the playoffs whenever you've got Ellie going and you've got McLain going. Yep. Everybody else can just kind of follow suit. And I mean, if TJ keeps kind of going, I know he had an over on Sunday and you kind of saw his batting average dip back below 300.
Yeah, but he homered the day before. So
I mean, you can't win them all. But I think that this lineup is just so much different if Matt McLain is Matt McLain.
You know what else is making this lineup different is as wrong as you were about Matt McLain. I openly said, I don't know who CES is. I don't know what kind of player.
And I agree with you. Yeah.
And he stood up and said, gentlemen, take a look, because he is on absolute fire. He is homered in every game since he's been back. He has been a difference maker. And here's the part. And listen, we don't give defense enough credit around here. He has played a darn good third base over this series. He looked good over there. And when the Reds ran him out there, I'm like, really? That's what we're doing? Right. And he's looked really good over there.
Well, we thought it was going to be the other way, right? Like Steer was going to play third and he was going to play
exactly
first.
What I thought was going to happen. 100%.
Man, Tito pulled the right strings there, putting him at third base. And I remember that in spring training, Tito was very excited watching him take infield at third base. He's just like, man, I really think that this could be something. And remember, he actually was coming up through the Reds farm system as a third baseman that they moved to first base once he got to the major leagues. Steve, this could be huge because if he's going to be good at third base, and then you could even keep Steer at first, or maybe you move Steer to left field, move CES to first whenever Noelvi Marte is healthy. I mean, we're talking once again, and again, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves talking about the future, but I'm feeling really good about this after this weekend because we have not seen that Christian Encarnacion-Strand for even just 3 games like this weekend. At any point, like he had good games here and there over these last 2 seasons, but it felt like he had a good game and then something happened in the following game that then he got hurt and then he was playing through that injury and then he hit the IL and then he was gone for a while and then he came back, but they didn't give him a long enough rehab step. Maybe that was the key. They just gave him enough time in Louisville to get right and get his timing going.
He told Jim Day on the first day back that he right now is the healthiest he has ever been at the major league level. He's always had some kind of nick, always had some kind of injury, always had some kind of thing going on. This is what healthy CES looks like. And I truly hope he can remain this healthy because he is just an absolute beast out there.
This is the lineup. And this is why, because there's been people in the comments. I know you've seen them. I've seen them. That are just like, how could anybody have looked at this team and thought that they were going to be a playoff team? This is why. These are the young guys that have the skills and the talents that we thought they had. Their scouting reports said that these guys are going to be good. They just hadn't quite put it together. Matt McLain hadn't put it together yet this year. And if this continues, if this is how the lineup's going to go, because they made a comeback, Steve. They just did it before the 7th inning, so we can't really put that stat up there just yet. They're still 0 in that category, but they were down 2-0, and they end up coming back, win 4-2. If this is what we're talking about, I just keep going back to this is the Reds team that I expected.
Yeah, and it's the Reds team that we can be excited about. It's the Reds team that can do the things we have predicted all along. And in this stretch of bad schedule, they're still doing what we ask them to do. They're 500 again. They have to stay at 500 until those 7 games before the All-Star break. That's exactly where they are. And while they're doing it in the most frustrating way possible, I'm still excited about this team.
A lot of peaks and valleys going on, that's for sure. But I tell you this, Steve, the crow doesn't stop with the lineup because there's a dude in the bullpen right now that wants some flowers, and we're going to give them to him coming up next. Few people know snacking like sports fans know snacking, and especially baseball fans. And the best way to attack that snack game is with wonderful pistachios. You got to check these out today. I'm tell you what, these no shells variety, the smoky barbecue, taste amazing. You absolutely get a beautiful barbecue flavor, well seasoned with every single pistachio, but you'll forget that with every handful, about a quarter cup serving size, you get 11% of your daily value worth of protein. That's how good these are for you. The other macros are amazing on them. You got to check out wonderful pistachios today. The no shells variety, they got smoky barbecue like this one. They got salt roasted. They got salt and vinegar. They got chili roasted. They got jalapeno lime. So many great flavors for you, even honey roasted as well. I saw those at the store. Might have to get those next time I run out of this here, because wonderful pistachios are at your local store. You can find out more. Get snacking, get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. That's Wonderful Pistachios at wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more today. Thanks for always making Locked On Reds part of your everyday routine. If you are not an everydayer, make sure you hit subscribe right here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app, because we're seriously on all of them. We've got so much content for you all throughout the year, in season, out of season, postseason, preseason, all the seasons. And at the end of every game, Tim Daniel on the Reds postcast as well. Make sure you become an everydayer today. All right, Steve, so we talked about CES. We talked about Matt McLain and the crow that we had to eat there. We got to eat some more crow because, and this is one that I've been saving for a little bit, because I need to see more than just one good outing out of a relief pitcher. But it's time to eat some crow on Taylor Rogers, man, because he's looking really good right now. He's looking like the dude. See, we've been peak and valley on him too, where when the Reds acquired him, we said, boy, closer 1B, here we go. And then, like, he started the season really slow, and we're like, well, who is this guy? We weren't ready to say the word bum, but we were getting there. And here recently, he has been phenomenal. I mean, he was mowing down the Diamondbacks in his 2 innings of work on Sunday.
Yeah, a multi-inning performance from him yesterday. On the season, Jeff, he's been in 26 games. He's pitched 22 innings, and in the 22 innings, he struck out 21 guys. He has very quietly built into being really reliable
recently too.
And I feel like, I'm not ready to put him in group A, but he's definitely become like the bridge guy, right? He's that bridge guy between the B group and the A group. Yeah, he's the B+ guy right now. And I like what I saw from him. If he continues to go out there and be that guy that can give you a couple innings when you get in a bind and pitch the 6th, 7th innings in that range, that's perfect for him. And he profiles a little bit better than that. So if you're using that guy in that spot and you've got the A group for the 7th, 8th, 9th innings, the Reds bullpen can continue to cook. And I really like the way they've looked over the last week or so.
And it was key to watch his performance on Sunday because he was pitching to a lot of right-handed guys. It wasn't a lot of lefty on lefty action. Like, he was dotting his slider on the inside part of the zone against right-handed hitters, and they had no idea what was coming. Like, Ketel Marte was the moment where I'm like, all right, Taylor Rogers is working right now, because Ketel Marte pushed him to a full count, made that a long at bat, was fouling off a couple of good pitches. And you're like, what's going to happen here? Is he going to unravel? And he still strikes him out. It was a beautiful at bat. And it really kind of, I think that sort of solidified Tito's plan to have him pitch multiple innings, because then he came in and he pitched a beautiful 8th inning. But on top of that, this seemed like a game where Emilio Pagan was just not available, because Tony Santillan ended up being the guy that got the save. And that's not typical, at least not yet. I don't think Tony Santillan has eclipsed Emilio Pagan in the saves pecking order, but I think it's Pagan Santillan. And so with him not available, and then Graham Ashcraft, he's pitched a bunch here recently as well. That was such a key performance for me. And I'm definitely ready. I'm with you. I think B+, it's a little early to go A squad here, but this is the Taylor Rogers that we were excited about whenever the Reds got him for literally nothing. Like they threw in a project prospect for him.
Right. There was one at bat. I don't know if he was working against Herrera. I can't remember who it was against, but he just kept coming with the sweeper, right? Sweeper. And I'm like, you keep throwing this sweeper, this guy's eventually going to time you up and make you pay. And that was the point. He dotted him with the fastball. And I'm like, oh my God, I was with you. I'm like, he's on. That's the guy we thought we were getting from San Francisco right there.
And that was just kind of a key moment in a weekend full of great moments for this bullpen. The bullpen on the whole was pretty tidy. I think they only gave up like just 1 or 2 runs on the weekend. And especially on Sunday, they kept everything clean and tidy on the scoreboard. But when you've got the bullpen working like it did this weekend, I think it's key because the lineup was big, especially in game 2 on Saturday or Saturday's game. I don't know how we're describing Saturday, where it's like they didn't really play 2 whole games, but they did technically finish one and then play the second one, whatever it is. But at the same time, the bullpen, this Diamondbacks team, and I think people are going to be a little bit, well, you win by 10 runs, you got to feel good about whatever pitching you get. Make no mistake about it. This Diamondbacks team is coming off a series where the final game against the Braves, they came back when they were down 10-4 and they won 11-10. They are no slouch of a lineup, but this bullpen shut them down.
Yeah, we should also just take a second and give credit to the other guy that we've poo-pooed a little bit, who numbers are also starting to tick up, and that's Scott Barlow. He weathers that rain delay yesterday and comes right back out, picks up right where he left off, gives a good performance. He's another guy. He's been in 30 games, Jeff. He's pitched 27 2/3 innings, and in those 27 2/3 innings, he struck out 28 guys. He's getting the job done quietly too. And so I'm becoming much more comfortable with the B group in early innings as a whole, right? Even if you give me Brent Suter in the 6th inning out there doing his thing, I'm comfortable with all of those guys. So it's much more of a point in the season now where earlier on there was some angst, right? When they would go with the B group in the early innings, like, God, I hope they don't screw up this Hunter Green start, or God, I hope they don't, you know what I mean? But now there's a comfort level, and they seem to be all clicking on all cylinders right now, which really helps this Reds offense out, takes off some of the pressure to have to score 10 runs a game to feel like you're going to win it, right? Now we get back to where, if they score 4 runs a game, we can start talking about that's a realistic amount of runs to win. And we saw that yesterday.
And even talking about, the B group, one other guy, and we don't talk about him enough simply because I think when he comes in, the game isn't in the best of spots. But Lyon Richardson is looking like he's got some nasty stuff out of the bullpen. He's a guy that the Reds have looked at as a starting pitcher for, a couple of seasons in the minor leagues. He got a shot in 2023 to be a starter. Didn't look all that great as a starting pitcher. But now out of the bullpen, Steve, 106 ERA in 17 innings pitched. And I get it, he's not getting a ton of high leverage appearances, and his FIP says he's getting a little bit lucky, but he's got some swing and miss stuff that if he kind of quells the walks a bit, you could maybe see him pushing for a little bit of a B+ squad appointment as well.
And let's be clear. It's not a knock to say he doesn't appear in the high leverage situations. Everybody's not that guy.
You got to pitch those.
Yeah. You need those 6th and 7th inning guys that are just reliable. And that's really been something that's been missing from this bullpen for a while, is feeling like the group is reliable. And I'm trending that way, Jeff. I don't want to get too far out in front of it. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm becoming a believer in this bullpen group. We did shows as recently as 2 weeks ago, like, go get us a bullpen arm, go get it right now. That might be priority number 1 over a power hitter. Go get us an arm. Dave eased some of that angst in me, where I'm willing to say, okay, if they don't trade for a bullpen arm, they still might be okay.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention as well, like, whether it's the bullpen or the lineup, I am happy with how the weekend went. And I'm pretty sure there's some people that are going to be thinking like, oh, they immediately now think that the Reds are making the playoffs again. I'm not ready to make grandiose claims. They are doing exactly what we said they should do, stay around 500 until close to the All-Star break. But at the same time, I'm just happy with what I've seen, and I've seen flashes. I'm not ready to say that bing, bang, boom, put your playoff ticket money down. But at the same time, it's a good weekend, man. It's a good weekend. We celebrate good weekends around here.
Right. As we record, they're 4.5 games back in the wild card. They're 7.5 games back in the division. Both of those numbers are obtainable. So you're right. I'm not ready to give the Reds money for a playoff deposit, but also I'm going to try and keep October clear.
I'm with you on that one, Steve. And a big reason why is because the Reds got a chance to finish off the Ohio Cup We're going to tell you how they can do that coming up next. I don't know if you ever done this before. You just decide last minute to go down to the ballpark, but I do it all the time. And I do it all the time by using Game Time, because Game Time has the last minute deals at the lowest price guaranteed. They've got amazing deals when you're talking about getting down to the ballpark and see the Reds at Great American, or if you travel on the road with them to an away game, maybe against the Cubs, maybe against the Cardinals, even if you're coming up to the Cleveland series, Game Time is going to help you get into that ballpark for a really good price. Plus, if it's a baseball stadium that you don't know very well, it'll show you the view from your seat, and you'll know exactly where you are located. Check out Game Time today. New customers can download the app, create a profile, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. That's the awesome low price at the last minute, plus an extra $20 off that low price for your new customer using that promo code LOCKEDONMLB on the Game Time app. Get it today, because they got the lowest prices on the last minute deals guaranteed. If you can't watch us on YouTube, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcasting app. We're on all of them, so go check us out there today. Literally all of them. All right, Steve, Reds got a chance. They just got to win one of these next three, just one of the next three, and the Ohio Cup comes home. I know that we've got the spot in the trophy case. It's been missing the Ohio Cup. We'll get that in there, get that nice and shined up, and really take a lot of pictures of it and probably put it on social media and all this other stuff. Okay, I'm kidding. It's a weird trophy, but still, it's great to know that the Reds have a chance to beat Cleveland, and all they got to do is take 1 out of 3, because at least for the entirety of the Ohio Cup's existence, Cleveland's kind of owned their home field against the Reds. They're 42-27 there.
There's a lot of subplot in this series, Jeff. Tito going home,
right,
so to speak. Wade Miley starts for the Reds tonight. And, I don't know if you remember this, but Wade Miley has had a really good performance for the Reds in Cleveland before.
I remember. I really hope everybody remembers, because, Cleveland didn't hit him last time he pitched up there for the Reds. So, maybe he could do that again, too. I know there's not a lot of people his last appearance have a lot of confidence in him, but remember, the last time he was there, he did some big things.
It's interesting the way the pitching shakes out in this series, Jeff. Talking about 2 of the 3 starters are really, really good. So you got Wade Miley. That's a wild card. Don't know how that's going to go. There is that whole winning the first game of a series streak thing that I would like for the Reds to
test that one for sure.
It's going to test that one. But then you've got Abbott and you've got Lodolo. So I feel good about them being able to win 1. I would love for them to take 2 of 3 up there. I'm not going to call today's game a throwaway just because Wade Miley's going, but I feel like we could see a lot of the bullpen tonight in Cleveland.
I think that is probably a good reason why Tito held off on both Graham Ashcraft and Emilio Pagan on Sunday. And it worked out that Taylor Rogers pitched so well and gave him 2 innings. But at the same time, he knows what's coming here in Cleveland. But on the other side of that, especially in game 2 and game 3, when you look at the pitching matchups, the good guys that we've got going for the Reds, and then on the Cleveland side of things, their pitching staff is a bit of a patchwork right now. Definitely got some injuries that they're working through, and they got Slade Ciccone pitching in the second game, and they've got Logan Allen pitching in the third game. 2 guys that are basically in the staff for the Guardians right now, simply because they are stretched out, and they can give them a good 4, 5, 6 innings if they need to. These are some guys that the Reds, they just need to run the pitch count up on them right now, because if they do that, they can get into that Guardians bullpen that, albeit they've got one of the best in the game in Emmanuel Class A, but he hasn't had the best of seasons. So if you can really tax that bullpen early in this series, I think that the Reds have a really good shot to take 2 out of 3 in Cleveland.
And this series also, Jeff, is a good opportunity for the Reds to really lean into some momentum building, right? Coming off a sweep of the Diamondbacks, if you go to Cleveland and take 2 of 3, it's a different energy around this team at that point. There'll be a couple games over 500 at that point, and you can look at it and think, all right, this is the part of the season where you can make a turn. where you can make a run, where you can make a push. And I think it all begins. What we've seen from them is they have a really good series, right? We saw this with the last Cleveland series. They go out and sweep Cleveland, and then they kill all the momentum.
Build it. Yeah.
And they can't build on it. They kill all the momentum in the next series. And we've seen that multiple times throughout the year. That's the next thing that needs to be different with this team. The bullpen is pitching good. The offense is going. They're starting to hit the ball. The next thing that needs to happen is they need to carry that momentum from a sweep into another series and do well. That's what's been missing. That's the next thing I need to see from this team.
Well, and if we're really going to be talking about like quality of opponents right now, like especially with what they've got coming up, they've got 9 games against the AL Central, because after they go to Cleveland, they go to Detroit for 3, and Detroit's been one of the best teams in all of baseball this year. I don't know if they get Tarek Skubal. I have to look ahead on that one whenever we preview the series. That'll be a tough one. They get Skubal. He's left-handed, and he's probably the best pitcher in the game right now. Actually, I think he is the best pitcher in the game. And then they got 3 at home against Minnesota, and then they go on the road for 3 against St. Louis. It's just a very long stretch of really good teams, because then they come back home for 6 against the Yankees and the Padres. So right now it's literally just one game at a time. And if you can take 2 out of 3 in Cleveland, you can wrap up the Ohio Cup and all that great stuff, and then just take 1 of 3 out of Detroit, you're still looking at 500 ball when you got Minnesota coming to town. We can do this. We can look ahead. I know that the players aren't doing that, and Terry Francona is going to be, making sure that they don't. But this Cleveland series feels like a really need to get 2 out of 3. They've backed themselves into this weird corner, Steve, that as much as we say that they continue to do the things that they need to do to stay around 500 during this long stretch of really tough competition, they got to keep winning series. I feel like they've been one step behind being even better than we thought they could be. And now with some of these guys really starting to break out a bit, that's when the momentum needs to really take off. Let's keep seeing Matt McLain get hits. Let's keep seeing CES get hits and timely hits. I'm not even saying home runs, just timely hits, guys. Get the runs in. Let's keep this run scoring momentum going, because the pitching has been, knock on wood, good all year.
And I think that this series could be a springboard, because I know how good Detroit is right now, but I think this offense is built to perform well at Comerica. I mean, if you've ever gone and watched games there, that ballpark's kind of big. And this is a team that's good at putting balls in the gaps and good at putting the ball in play. I think they profile well for Comerica. That could be a more interesting series than it just looks on paper, I think. Especially
they play up, right? They play up.
Right. They play up. And if they can take 2 or 3 in Cleveland, and you've got back-to-back series wins, you've won 5 out of your last 6, and you're going into that ballpark where I think you can perform well, it starts the narrative. There's an opportunity for this team right now to really turn this narrative on its head. This, oh, they're not good enough. Oh, they can't do it. Oh, it's a lost season. Oh my God. Why did we go get Francona? Go back into retirement. We've seen all the comments. We've heard all the noise, but this is a real chance for the Reds to kind of put some of that to bed and remind everybody why we were so excited back in March when we were at opening day, and remind everybody what we thought that this team could be. It's been painful. They've been kind of pulling it along really, really slowly, but it's kind of there right now. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing them build on it.
I'm just happy that I've been able to dust off these t-shirts that we bought a couple of years ago when the young core was really getting going. I mean, you got the Mighty Matt shirt. I got the Yippee-Ki-Yay shirt going on. If you're not watching on YouTube, we're both wearing our Matt McLain t-shirts from Cincy Shirts. So I mean, my Will Benson shirt that I got out, like all these different shirts. It's like, hey, I feel good about wearing them again. Let's get these guys rolling. Like it's just been such a slog, but the fact that it's been such a slog and they're still exactly where we thought they would be is very telling in and of itself. They've still got a shot to really jump off this springboard and get going. I'm excited to see what they can do next to build on that momentum. And that is a great spot to end today's podcast. Thanks, everybody, for checking out today's pod. I had mentioned on the live show on Friday afternoon that we were going to cover this, but I pushed it back a day because, man, it was such a good weekend. Tomorrow on the pod, we're going to discuss those rumors about the Reds maybe making a big-time blockbuster trade for Jarren Duran from Boston. we're going to really break that down on the next Locked On Reds podcast. So make sure you check that out. You're not going to want to miss it. And the way you don't miss that is by hitting subscribe here on YouTube or on your audio podcasting platform of choice, because we're on all of them out there. Make sure you check out Tim Daniel on the Reds postcast after the final out of every ball game. And now go check out Locked On MLB Game Night over on the Locked On MLB channel. They watch every game so that you don't have to, because quite frankly, you probably can't, but they do. So check out Locked On MLB Game Night every single night. Steve, finish us off.
Oh, we're going to keep gathering up the news, the reports, the rumors, and the information, and we'll be right back here in your feed tomorrow and keep you locked on Reds every single day. How'd that crow taste?
Pie. It's good to eat crow pie whenever
yummy.
you're talking about your own guys, right?
Crow pot pie, man.
I ate that Christian Yelich crow pie last year. I'm glad to eat Reds crow pie this year. I like that.
For sure. Never pitched to Yelich.
Yep. No, I agree.